Okay, Moonlight Sonata, part 3. You've just come out of this part in part 2, which sounds like this. And you go into this. And this is what I'm going to be showing you. And on from there. And I actually did some weird fingering that you won't do, but I'm going to show you the notes, and then I'll give you some tips, and I'll let you get to it. So the first thing you want to do is you've just so you've just come out of this part in part 2 where you've played A, D, and then you land on a G. And as soon as you hit that G, your left hand is going to basically play a G chord arpeggiated up. So your right hand is playing a G, and your left hand is playing G, B, and D, like this. And you're going to do that 3 times. Actually, you're going to do that 4 times in your left hand, and your right hand is going to, on the 3rd beat, start the next section. So, like this. 3. And then right when you start the 4th arpeggio, you're going to hit this D. I like to hit it with my 3 finger. You can use whatever finger works for you. And you do this little thing, like you've heard this pattern in previous tutorials. Kind of like a little stuttery, and into the next part. Okay, so let me review really quickly, because I know I did a lot of talking, and we'll see if I can just show you into the next part. So you've got, okay, G. Alright, so the next part, you've got this G going on, and here's the way to remember it. Your thumb is going to be still playing that D when you move. Your middle finger is going to go up a half step to the C, and your pinky is going to go down a half step to this F sharp. 2, 3. So you do that chord 4 times, and you return. So on the 3rd time that you do this arpeggio, you're doing another one of those stutters on the D. Oops. And there you're going to switch back to a G chord. And now when you switch back to that G chord, you're only going to play it twice. Then you're going to move again and again and again. So you sort of start moving on the beat after that G chord returns. So let me give you a quick review up to that point. You do this part, and then you come into the G. So this 3rd part starts on a G. I'll do it nice and slow. 3, 4, bump 1, 2, 3, 4, bump 1, 2. Now 3, 4, 1. So I'm going to show you that. So on the 3, so you're on the G, 2. Okay, so you play through the G twice. Now watch your right hand. Your right hand is going to start going up to a D sharp, E, F sharp. Alright, so that's the movement there, sort of like an upward movement. And while that's happening, you're switching. So you start on D with this G chord. And watch the chords that I play. You've got a D. When this moves to the D sharp, you've got an A, a B, and a D sharp. You can play with your 4, 3, and thumb fingers. A, B, and D sharp. Then, when you get to this when you get to this E in your right hand, you've got a G, a B, and a D in your right hand. Right, so basically, sorry, did I say D, E? G, B, and E in your right hand, so basically an E minor chord. And then you continue up to this F sharp here, and you return to the chord that you were in before this one, that A, B, and D sharp. Okay? Then you continue up to a G with your right hand, and your left hand goes back to the chord it was in, the chord before the last chord. Hopefully that's not too confusing. So let me just break down and just show you the left hand here. You've got G, Then you've got A, B, and D sharp, G, B, and E, A, B, and D sharp, and then back to that G, B, and D. So you'll notice you play these chords. You play those chords like twice. So you've got this, and then you got, here's the first chord, here's the second chord, first chord again, second chord again, and your right hand's doing something different. Okay? Ba, 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 ba. Right hand goes up to that G, and you return to that inverted E minor chord. Do. Okay? Now this gets a little interesting. Your right hand starts walking down, so it goes to an F, and your left hand shifts everything up one white note. So your right hand goes to F, and your left hand shifts up one white note and plays A, C, and F. Okay? Now, you remember that chord from before with that A, B, and the D sharp? You're going to play that while your right hand moves from an F to a D sharp. I'm trying to get my fingers out of the way there for you. And you're going to end with your right hand on an E, and your left hand playing that old familiar E minor, inverted E minor chord. G, B, and E. Okay, so this section, and so the very end of the section, you play through that. And we're going to start the next section after that. But the key there, the ending there, all you really do is you bring this G up to a G sharp. So you play for 2, 1, 2, and then up to the G sharp. Ba, 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 ba. That's the part that's coming next. All right. So for this section, the key here is to remember this chord, the A, the B, and the D sharp, and this chord, which is basically an E minor chord, but it's played a little differently, a G, B, and an E. So if you see it like this, where this B is always in there, and this just does a little bit of this stuff, that'll help you remember. So let me show you from the top, and then you're going to have to go practice for yourself. So you start in on that G. I'll do it really slow. 2, 3, 4, ba, ba, 1, 2. We got this other chord. 3, 4, ba, back to that G for 2, 2. Interesting chord. Back to this E minor. Interesting chord. Bum, bum, bum. E minor again inverted, and then we go down in the right hand and slide everything up in the right hand. D sharp and back to that interesting chord. It's like a suspended chord. And then end back to that E minor, and then just bring this up to that sharp. And that's all for that section. I'm just going to play it once for you without saying anything, and then you're going to have to go. And from there we'll go on. You'll notice when I play, I get really, kind of into the timing. You should totally feel free to make this sound as beautiful as possible. Use your imagination. Okay, that's the whole tutorial. I really hope it helped you. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.